What's going on, guys? I'm Built, and welcome back to another Minecraft Bedrock farm tutorial video. In this video today, we're going to be building this ginormous farm behind me, which, you may have guessed, is a gold farm. Not just any gold farm, this is a fully selectable quad portal farm that produces an absolute ton of zombified piglin. Fully selectable meaning that you can run this thing with just one portal if you didn't want to cause a bunch of lag, or if you were running on something like a mobile phone. Or you could run 2 portals if you had like a Nintendo Switch, 3 portals if you had like a PlayStation 4, and 4 portals if you had a PC or one of the newer consoles. You get the idea. This farm is settable between 25, 50, 75, and 100%. This farm does utilize 2 of my very own Trident killers, which means these zombie piglins are not going to stand a chance and they are going to die very quickly. This will also unload them at 4 times hopper speed per Trident killer, giving the entire system a total item unloading speed of 20 items per second. Excuse me, sir, you are trespassing. I'll see y'all later. So what do you say? Let's get to testing this thing out. I'll show you what it's made of, and then we'll go over how it works, and then we'll get to building this. One note about this farm is you will have to have fire tick on inside of your world. This farm does rely on stuff catching on fire in order to light the portals. So unfortunately, if you do not have fire tick on inside of your world, this farm will not work. I just finished up a 1-hour AFK session and the results are in, so let's go ahead and see how the farm performed. So within that same hour-long AFK session, using a looting 3 sword, we were able to get 4,012 gold ingots, which is a little over a double chest full. This number does not include the gold ingots that you would get from smelting down the gold swords, which includes another 561 gold ingots plus 4 gold nuggets per hour. So keep in mind, if you opt not to add on the blast furnaces, you are going to be forfeiting almost 9 stacks of gold ingots for every single hour that you AFK. And lastly, the rotten flesh. We have an absolute ton here at almost 7.5 double chest full of rotten flesh. This is going to be 25,103 rotten flesh per hour. If of course you wanted to keep them to trade with clerics or whatever else you do with rotten flesh. As far as the gold count goes, from combining the swords and the output of the gold farm, we are going to end up with 508 gold blocks, or 4,573 ingots, or 41,157 nuggets, which is pretty impressive for just AFKing for 1 hour. Now this farm, just like most other Trident killer based farms on the Bedrock edition, you are going to want to hold a looting 3 sword, that way you get the most amount of drops for the mob that has died. We have 2 levers over here. This one will turn on the Trident killer, and this will also turn on the dispensing system and everything else that makes this tick down below. This one on the right hand side is going to turn the portals on and off, so if this is up, just like the Trident killer, then the portals are going to start to light. However, because we don't have the amount of portals selected, it's not going to light currently. So let's go ahead and hit portal number 1. And then you can see this one's going to start lighting. Then if we hit portal number 2, we'll have this one start lighting. Portal number 3, that one will start lighting. And then 100%. Portal number 4, that one will start lighting. As you can see, this thing has no shortage of the piglins produced, and it kills them almost instantly as soon as they get into the kill chamber. The way that the sorting system is going to work is you are going to have this upper item stream, which is going to bring all of the stuff out of the Trident killers. Then they're going to combine right here and then push down into the secondary item stream. This is going to push a line up against this ender chest, which is then going to pull it across the hoppers here. These first 4 hoppers are going to be your ingots that are going to be pulled out. The following hoppers on this side is going to pull out all of your rotten flesh. On this side over here, the rest of these are all going to pull out your gold nuggets. Now at this point, there's going to be nothing other than swords coming out of here because everything else is sorted out. They're going to align up against this ender chest, and they're going to go down here to be smelted down into gold nuggets. We have 7 blast furnaces here, which are all powered by lava back here. You can fuel these with whatever fuel source that you would like. However, these blast furnaces are going to melt down 90% of the swords. If you didn't care about melting down the swords, you could take this entire thing off and just put your fire over here to burn the rest of them. Or if you wanted to maximize and make sure that you were smelting every bit of the swords, you could always extend this with another water stream. Walking in from the back, this side array is from all of the blast furnaces here, and this is basically going to dump out all of the gold nuggets that are coming out of the golden swords. And also, because I'm filling it with lava, we're going to have the empty buckets drop down here as well. You can refill this with lava or whatever fuel that you would like, just by putting the fuel source inside of these barrels here. On the left hand side here, we have all of our gold ingots going down into these 4 chests here, and it's going to fill from left to right as the system fills up. We have the dispensers, which are going to be dispensing all of the rotten flesh into these cauldrons filled with lava and disposing of it. If you wanted to keep the rotten flesh, you could always replace these with shulker boxes. Over here to the right hand side, we have all of our nuggets going into here, and as you can see, we need a ton of storage because there's no shortage of nuggets that come out of this farm. Now, in order to clear out the farm, all you have to do is hit this lever here, leave your Trident killer lever on. That's going to stop the portals. Everything's going to go down into the Trident killers, kill them all, and then you might want to leave the Trident killers on for a little bit longer. That way all of the materials is dispensed and put into the sorting system. And once it clears out after about 10 seconds, you're able to turn off the lever, and we are good to go. Now, I have designed this farm to be extremely lag friendly. As you can see, there is no portals lit whenever you turn it off, and that is because portals are very laggy, and lag is not good. And the way that we're doing that is using this little piston trick here. Whenever the portal is still flickering, we're able to shove this piston through and extend it, and because that is extended into the frame of the portal, it's no longer able to light. As you can see, if we remove that, the portal will instantly light. And the reason why this instantly lights is because we have so many updates going along here. So we have a ton of trapdoors which are constantly catching on fire, and those are being updated very quickly by a ton of observers inside of a special configuration in order to make this basically instantly light. So as you can see, we can sit here and this portal is going to basically instantly relight faster than it can even render, believe it or not. The bottleneck of the system making it even faster is going to be the braking mechanism, which in this case is going to be powdered snow. It takes a few ticks to dispense them and retract them back into the dispenser. It's going to basically slow down that portal breaking a whole lot more. And unfortunately, that's just game mechanics. There's not much that we can do about that. One last note that I will leave you with is if you did not want this fully adjustable with the levers and the pistons and stuff to actually make it work, you could have this set up to where it would either be off or 100%. So the way that you would do that is you would go here, you would remove this block here, and then you would put a torch on either side. Then you could remove all of these torch towers, this entire mechanism down here, all the way down to the bottom, and all of your levers, of course. The only torch tower that you would want to keep would be this one here, which is going to be your main control torch tower. I'll dive into that a little bit more during the tutorial. Speaking of tutorial, let's jump into it. Everything that you're going to need is going to be down inside the description below. While you're down there, drop a like. It really helps out the channel. And if you really like tutorials like these, consider subscribing and hitting that bell notification. That way you don't miss any of them. Thanks. The very first thing that you're going to want to do before building this farm is to chunk align it. I know that it's not everybody's favorite thing to do. However, it is the only way that I can guarantee the reliability and the efficiency of this farm. This farm does have multiple things that are highly affected by being on a chunk border, so it is very important that this farm is chunk aligned. This farm does not only need to be chunk aligned, but it is directional as well. So you're going to want to find where you want to put the face of this farm, which is going to be this with the furnaces. And this section here is going to be facing north. So we will call this here the front of the farm. And if we go to this chunk here, this is the one that you're going to want to chunk align first. That way the furnaces are facing in this direction, which is north. Now there's a ton of different ways that you can figure out your directions, one of which is having the coordinates enabled. So the last number is the Z chord, and if that is going down further into the negative, then you know that you are heading north. Another way is if you put down a piece of dirt with a sunflower on top of it. This sunflower is always going to face east no matter where you're at or what dimension you're in. So if that is facing east, then we can spin around and we know that this is north because we would have north, south, east, and then west. Like I said, there's a ton of different ways to do it. It's entirely up to you how you decide to do it. Just make sure that this is facing towards the north and the farm will work properly. Now that you have your chunks marked out, what you're going to do is grab you some comparators, some hoppers, some solid blocks that redstone could pass through, some chests, some temporary blocks, some redstone repeaters, redstone, and torches. You're going to grab your solid blocks. We're going to go over here to the northwest corner of the north chunk. So with this being the chunk that's closest to the north, we're going to turn all the way around. This is the north, this is the west, so northwest would be right here. Now keep in mind, this is actually the corner of the chunk. These emerald blocks are just a bracket showing the corner of the chunk, so the actual corner is right here. We're going to start on this block here. We're going to count towards the south in that direction by 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. On this 9th block, we're going to place down a solid block. Counting this solid block, we're going to go south again by a total of 12 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now counting this block, we're going to go to the left by 15. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Place down a solid block here. 2 more to the south of that block. And then we're going to extend this towards the north by 12 total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You should end up with these blocks being staggered with a 2-block gap on this side from lining up with the side across from here. And then the same thing should be on this side, where you have a 2-block gap from lining up with this side, and then you're going to have a 13-block gap inside of the center. Counting the blocks, it will be 15 total. So it should look just like this. Then you're going to grab your redstone repeaters and then face them towards the center on both sides, going all the way across with 24 redstone repeaters in total. Make sure all of these repeaters are on a default 1-tick delay. Then you're going to grab you some solid blocks. You're going to go to this repeater here, crouch place a block to the right of it, a block to the left of it, and a block directly on top of it as well. On this top block, you're going to extend this to the left by 2. Place down a redstone torch here, a comparator on this block facing this direction with 3 pieces of redstone dust on top of it. So we're basically making an impulse SV sorter. And then we are going to basically continue this all the way down. So we can grab our solid blocks and we're going to drag this all the way down. We're going to drag this all the way down. And then we're going to extend these 3 blocks all the way down. Place your comparators in all the way down. And redstone dust on all of the exposed surfaces. And then underneath you're going to place in your torches. Now you're going to do the exact same thing on this side. So go to this repeater, crouch place a solid block here, a solid block here, and a solid block on top. On the right hand side you're going to place down a solid block here and here, comparator, redstone dust all the way down, and then a torch down here. Doing it like this will remind you how this is supposed to be all the way down to the very end. Nice and easy so far. So now what we're going to do is go back to this side that we started at, and we're going to place down a temporary block right here. We're going to grab our chest, we're going to spin around, and we're going to place down a chest here, a chest here, a chest here, and a chest here. Remove that temporary block. Then we're going to grab our hoppers. We're going to place down a hopper here, a hopper here, a hopper facing into that block, and then on the very top you are going to place a hopper facing into the back of that comparator. Make sure that the hoppers are configured just like this, and you are going to repeat this pattern all the way down. Now before you get too carried away, we are going to be doing the same thing on this side. However, it's going to be a modified version of it. So go ahead and grab your droppers because you're going to need those as well. Let's start off by grabbing our hoppers. We're going to go across all of the back of these comparators with a hopper facing into the back of all of them. Then we're going to go to the left side. We're going to place in 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4 facing into the solid block here. Then just like on the other side, we're going to place down a temporary block here and here. Remove this block. Place in a hopper facing this direction. Then we can break this. Place in a chest here and here. Here and here. With a hopper facing into the bottom. We're going to repeat this for an additional 3. So 1, 2, and 3. We'll place those chests down there, place our hoppers in. Make sure that your hopper is indeed facing into the chest, just like this. This pack that I have does have a handy little arrow on it, which makes it very easy. This pack is available on Bedrock Tweaks. I'll go ahead and link that inside the description. Now that all of those are facing into the chest, we can grab our chest and we can place in some more on top here. So you should have 4 total. Then we're going to do the same thing with the hoppers in the back. So 1, 2, 3. Which makes 4 total. So these are all going to be for our gold ingots. Now that we got most of our chests situated, we're going to get started putting in our rotten flesh disposal system. So we're going to go back over here. We're going to go to this block and skip this block and go 1 block to the right. We're going to place in 2 temporary blocks with a dropper facing straight down. Then you're going to place in a temporary block, a dropper facing down, a temporary block, dropper facing down, temp block, and dropper facing down. Go ahead and remove all of these temporary blocks, like so. Now we're going to grab our hoppers, and we're going to place a hopper going into the side of each one of these droppers, just like this. You want to make sure that you are putting these on the north corner, and then you're going to go to the other side, and just bring these back until they get underneath each one of these hoppers, just like this. And that is going to ensure that all of these droppers are going to be running at double hopper speed. Now I'm going to take some cauldrons and put underneath each one of these, and these are also going to be filled full of lava in order to dispose of all of that rotten flesh. You can put shulker boxes or chest or barrels under these if you want to keep the rotten flesh, but because I have no use for it, I'm just going to burn it all. However, I do know that you can trade it to clerics and get a bunch of emeralds for it, so it really just depends on what you want. Now at this point we can go back to this first dropper, stand on top of the hopper that's going into it. We're going to place down 7 pieces of redstone dust. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. It should not cover up this last dropper, leave this one blank. And then we're going to go back to the start. On the second redstone dust, we are going to take a solid block and place it to the right side of that with a piece of redstone dust on top of it. This will later go to the power circuit that's going to power all of these. At this point, if you plan on keeping your swords and smelting them down to get more gold, what you're going to do is go down here to this chest. We're going to turn and we're going to place in 7 total chests here. Then you're going to grab you 7 hoppers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then you're going to take 7 blast furnace and place them all on top of these hoppers. Go to the back of the blast furnace and you're going to place hoppers facing into the back of all of them. Grab you some barrels. We're going to place barrels on top of all of these hoppers. And then directly on top of the blast furnace, you're going to place hoppers going straight down into them. So it should look just like this. At this point, next you're going to grab you some packed ice, and you're also going to want to grab 5 ender chests. We're going to start off down here next to the blast furnace, go up to this first hopper here. We're going to crouch place a piece of ice here, and we're going to place a ender chest on top of it. Then we're going to go to the right hand side here. All the way to the right of this sorter, we're going to place in 2 pieces of ice right on the right hand side of this top hopper. So 1 here and 1 here. Both of these are going to have 2 ender chests here and here. Then we're going to go all the way across to this other sorting system where we're going to do the same thing. Go to this hopper on the right top. We're going to place in a piece of ice here, a piece of ice here, with a ender chest here and an ender chest here. These do need to be ender chests, and they will be responsible for aligning all of the items. Next, go ahead and grab your packed ice. We are going to start at this one again, and we're going to place down a block here, a temporary block here with a piece of packed ice here. Go ahead and remove this. Then we can take this packed ice and bring this all the way down until it lines up with the end of this ender chest. Then we're going to take this to the right and bring this all the way across until it hits that hopper. Then we're going to bring this all the way along these hoppers until it lines up with the end of the ender chest here. Then we're going to take this and connect it all the way back over here. It should be 1 ice block away from the edge. Then we are going to go all the way to this corner here. We're going to place down a temporary block here with a ice block here. Remove that temporary block. Then we're going to bring this all the way across until it's 1 block from the ender chest. Bring this all the way down. And then you're going to skip this block, go to this one, and you're going to bring this all the way in until it's 1 block from the ice. So all in all, looking at it from the front, this is what you should have. Next, you want to go all the way to the back corner here, and we are going to place in 3 pieces of glass right here, here, and here. And you're going to place in a solid block here and here, a piece of glass here, 3 more solid blocks here, here, and here. Then bring some glass all the way across to the end here, and then all the way around here. Going back over to this corner, we are going to go to this block here. We're going to turn all the way around and build this out by 1. Place a temporary block here, a solid block here, remove that temporary block. Then we're going to build this out by 1 here, another one in this direction, and another one in this direction. Now if we go over here to this side, we're going to build these back by 2, and then place another block right here. Grab you a redstone comparator. We're going to place a redstone comparator coming out of this block here. Left click on it to put it into subtract mode. Then grab you some redstone dust. We're going to place redstone dust in all of these locations here. And also some redstone dust on top of this block as well. Then you want to grab you 4 target blocks. Over here on the right, we're going to place in a target block on the side of that redstone, and 1 here. And then on the opposite side, we're going to do the exact same thing. Place in a target block here and a target block here. So this is what you should have in total. Next, you can grab you some droppers and your choice of stairs. We're also going to want some temporary blocks. Go to these target blocks. We're going to place down a temporary block here, here, and here. Go ahead and remove these 2. And then place you a stair here and a stair here. Make sure that it is orientated upside down like so. We're going to do the same thing on this side as well. We're going to place down 3 temporary blocks. Remove these 2. Place a stair here and a stair here in line with the target blocks. And we're going to take us some droppers and face those droppers into the stairs. Just like so. These are the droppers that all of our items are going to come out of, and they should be dropping items right inside of the opening of the stairs there. Now at this point you can grab you some hoppers. We're going to go to the back of these droppers and we're going to place in a hopper going into the back of each one of these droppers. And then we're going to place a hopper going into the side of each one of these droppers as well. And the ones that are going into the side, we're going to want to extend those to the back, like so. And we're going to extend them to the back by 2. And then we're going to place another hopper going into that side and one going into that side. So again, we're going to extend these to the back by 2. And then one going into that side and one going into that side. That way they are orientated like this, giving quad hopper speed. Now before we get too carried away finishing up the Trident killers up top, we are going to want to finish up this water stream down here. So you want to grab your glass. We're going to bring our glass all the way across to here. Then we're going to grab us some glass panes and place glass panes all the way across these hoppers here. At the very end here, we're going to want to grab some soul soil, soul sand, or netherrack, something that can be lit on fire and burned, and you're going to place it right at the end of this barrel. We will light this on fire here in a little bit whenever we get the farm pretty close to being done. We're going to place down a temporary block here, a solid block here, remove that temporary block, and place down a solid block here. Then we're going to grab us some glass panes, and we're going to run glass panes all the way along these hoppers until you get to the ender chest down here. At the very end, we're going to place in a piece of glass here. We're going to bring this all the way over. Grab your glass panes again, and we're going to bring these all the way across the top of these hoppers. Then we're going to take our glass and bring this up all the way until you get to this piece of ice here. Now on this piece of ice, we're going to grab a button, place down a button here, a button here. You're going to go to the right by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Place you down a button here. Go all the way around here, and you're going to go to the third block from the right. 1, 2, 3. Place a button here. Go around to this side, and you're going to place a button on this block. And then you're going to place a button on this block here as well. Now go ahead and grab you some regular ice or water buckets. Since I'm in creative, I'm going to use water buckets. But in survival, I do recommend ice. And just place a source block here. That's going to go down and around. Place the source block here. That's going to go down to here. A source block here. That's going to go down and around. Source block here, and you get the idea. It's pretty much going to make a loop all the way down, and then once you get down here, you're going to place down a source block here. That's going to flow all the way down to the end but not cover up that soul soil. Now at this point, you're going to want to grab your glass, some more buttons, some more water buckets or ice, and we are going to now start working on this primary item stream. So you're going to grab some more glass, go over here, and we're going to bring this glass around here until you get to right here. And then you're going to go to this target block, place glass here, and you're going to place 5 going towards the right in total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. On this block here, you're going to place down a solid block with a button here and a button here. Then you're going to take some more glass and bring this over to here. Now over on this side, you're going to place in some glass here. Bring this out by 2, bring this around, and basically put glass all the way across on top of this water stream. Once you get to here, you're going to bring this out by 2, bring this out by 2, and place a glass block here. On this glass block, you're going to place down a button here. You're going to place a button here. Then grab your bucket of water, and we're going to place our water bucket right down here through that gap on that very last ice block. That's going to go down and around to here. We're going to do the same thing right here. That's going to flow. And then the last one that you're going to place is going to be on this side between this little gap. Place that in there. And then that's going to turn the corner and flow this direction. That way everything is funneled to right here. Next, we're going to get started placing in both of our Trident killers. We're going to go to the very front. And on the left-hand side, we're going to make our way to the back and find this hopper right here. We're going to place down a solid block right here, a temporary block, and another solid block. Remove that temporary block. A lever here, turn this lever on. A redstone torch here, a redstone dust here, a solid block here, and a solid block here, with a redstone repeater facing towards the left-hand side on the standard 1-tick delay. Now whenever we turn this on, we'll have a very fast clock. Yes, it does momentarily lock that hopper. That does not affect anything. We're going to take another solid block and come off that redstone dust right there, just like that. Then we're going to build this to the back by 1, a temporary block here with a permanent block here and here. Remove that temporary block. Do the same thing here. So a solid block, temporary block, permanent, remove that temporary. And we're going to do the same thing here with a solid block here and a solid block here. Now we can go ahead and put in our redstone components. So we're going to place in redstone dust here with a repeater here, redstone dust here with a repeater here, and redstone dust here with a repeater here. Now if we throw that lever on, it's going to go around in a circle. Oops, that's definitely the wrong lever. Now if we throw this lever on, it will go around in a circle very quickly, which is exactly what we want for our trident killers. So then we can go back over here to this block. We are going to extend this out by 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to place another solid block here, and we're going to bring this across to right here. On this section that we just brought out, we're going to place in 2 redstone repeaters facing this direction with a solid block here, a solid block here and here, temporary block here with a solid block here and here, remove that temporary, and then we're going to place down a solid block here, temporary, solid, solid, remove that temporary, and then on the inside here we're going to do a solid and a solid. Now we can place in the rest of our redstone dust here, redstone repeater here, redstone dust, redstone repeater, redstone dust, and redstone repeater. Now grab your pistons, and we're going to place a piston in on top of all of these blocks that are sticking up. So this side should look just like this, and then on this side it's going to look just like this. Now whenever we hit that lever, as you can see, these are all going to spin very, very quickly. So let's go ahead and turn this off. We're going to go ahead and wrap glass all the way around all of these killing chambers. Inside of here, you're going to place down a button here. And then you're going to place a button on the back side of all of these pistons, just like this. These buttons will hold all of the water in once we get to that time of placing it. Next, come over to the right and go directly underneath this piston. Remove this block here, and then we're going to go down here underneath. We're going to go directly above this comparator. We're going to crouch and place a solid block on top of it, just like this. And then on top of this solid block, we're going to have a redstone repeater facing this direction. So place one here on a 4-tick delay. So it should look just like that. At this point, we're going to get our hopper minecarts installed for our collection system. So you want to grab a handful of rails, some glass, 4 hopper minecarts, and 4 fence. You're going to start by going to the front of the farm. On the right hand side, inside of the trident killers, you're going to place in a fence here and a fence here. You're going to do the same thing over here, a fence here and a fence here. Then we're going to place in some glass here, if I can reach, here, here, and also a piece of glass right here, basically making it where the minecart cannot come out. Now this one we are going to remove here shortly, but for now we're going to place in a rail here, hopper minecart on that. We're going to remove this piece of glass so we can get back out, jump down here and nudge it to the side. You're going to basically nudge that all the way in the corner up against that fence. Jump back through this hole that you just made, and we're going to place in another hopper minecart. We're going to jump back over here, and we need to pillar up right here. We're going to remove this piece of glass and remove this rail from underneath here. At this point, we can remove this temporary block. We're going to jump back up here, back inside, and we are going to push this all the way up against the side. That way both of these are centered up against those gates. This is basically putting each of these over top of both of the hoppers down below, allowing these to run at quad hopper speed. Now that these are in place, we can replace this glass here, jump down here and replace this glass here. And now we're going to go over here to the other trident killer and do the same thing. So just like before, we're going to place in a block here, a block here, and a block here, a rail right here with a hopper minecart, nudge that all the way over and up against that fence. And then we are going to remove this so we can get back out of here. Place in another hopper minecart. We're going to jump back down here, place in another temporary block so we can get up here to remove this rail. Remove that rail. Then we can jump back up in here. Nudge that all the way against that fence, just like so. Jump back out of here, replace that glass, replace that glass. And then come back up here and we can cover these up with 4 blocks just like this. Next, we're going to get started putting in the water streams that are going to make up the mob funnel for this gold farm. So what you want to do is grab you some water buckets, some solid blocks, some buttons, some stairs, and a whole lot of glass. You're going to go to the very front of the farm, find your first trident killer here. We are going to wrap this all the way around just like this. Then you're going to place 4 pieces of glass here coming out this direction. And then you're going to wrap the entire back trident killer all the way around, just like so. And on the back side, you're going to extend this out by 1. Now you're going to place down a glass block here and here, a temporary block here with 2 pieces of glass block here. You're going to remove that temporary piece of glass. You want to drag this all the way across until you are 1 block past this piece of glass sticking out. Then you're going to grab you 2 stairs, place down a stair here and a stair here. Go to the very center of these 2 trident killers and place you down a stair here and a stair here. Then grab you some glass on the front of the farm, place down a piece of glass here and drag it all the way over here, stopping 1 block from the corner. Then go ahead and grab your buttons. You're going to place down a button here, and 2 buttons here. And then on this side, you're going to place down a button here and a button here. Don't place any buttons on this row here. Grab your water buckets. You're going to waterlog all 4 of these stairs. And then you're going to place water here and here as well. Next, you're going to grab your glass again, place down a block here, here, and then wrap this entire thing all the way around. And then if we come to this side with the front of the farm to our right, we're going to go all the way to the left-hand side where this water stream starts. We're going to build this out by 2. We're going to go over here to this water stream here, 1 block away from the stairs, and build this out by 2. We're going to go to this empty spot that does not have any buttons that goes down inside of the Trident Killer. We're going to build this out by 2. And then we're going to go to this glass block here, 1 away from the stair, and build this out by 2. Now we're going to mirror it on the other side. Now go inside of the center. We're going to place down 4 glass blocks here and 2 on top of these stairs. At this point, we're going to get started putting in the next few layers. We're going to want to grab some temporary blocks, a bunch more glass, and also some more buttons. We're going to start at the front of the farm and go to this area here. We're going to place down 3 temporary blocks here, 3 down here, 3 down here, and 3 down here. Then we're going to do the same thing on this side as well. Now we're going to grab us some glass. We're going to bring this all the way across. Glass here. We're going to wrap this around here. And basically surround all of these. Where these temporary blocks are, we don't want any there. Where these temporary blocks are, these are ultimately going to be water streams that are going to be flowing in towards the center. So we're basically just going to surround all of these with glass, leaving the center open, of course. So ultimately, in the end, it should look like this with absolutely no glass inside of the center. Now we're going to place in some more glass right here. 4 pieces. We're going to take 4 buttons and place a button here, and here. That's going to stop the water from flowing in. We're going to do the same thing on these exterior pieces here. So you should have 8 buttons in total, just like so. At this point, you can go ahead and remove all of these temporary blocks inside of the center. We no longer need these. Now, since all of those temporary blocks are removed, we can take our water buckets on the very far edge of glass, and we're going to fill each one of these little water canals with a source block at the very end here. If everything was done correctly, you should have this configuration with absolutely no water overflowing into the center. Now at this point, we're going to stack up another layer. We're going to grab some more temporary blocks and some more glass. We're going to go to the front of the farm and go to this left glass block here sticking out. We're going to extend this to the left by 7, counting this block. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do the same thing for the remaining 3 on this side. At the end of each one of these, we're going to place down a temporary block. And then we're going to place glass on all 3 corners here. You can go ahead and remove these temporary blocks now. Go back to the front of the farm, and on the right hand side, we're going to extend these to the right by 6. So counting this block, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're going to do this to the remaining 3. Again, place down your temporary blocks, just like so. And wrap these around the 3 exposed sides without placing the glass over top of any pre-existing glass. Go ahead and remove your temporary blocks. At this point, you can go to the side of this glass, bring it all the way over. You're going to do the same thing with this one, bring it all the way over. Same thing with these, bringing it all the way over. And you're going to do this to the remaining sections. Now you can go ahead and grab your water buckets. We're going to place water at the edge of each one of these sections. Nope, not right there. That is a very bad place to put it. We're going to place water here, water here, water here, and then on these 4 as well. Now from the front of the farm again, we're going to grab our glass, go to these 4 sections inside of the center, and place down glass here, here, and then here and here. Now go all the way back over here to the front left corner, and we're going to surround this entire thing with glass once again. Now at this point, you guessed it, you're going to grab some more glass and you're going to grab a bunch of your obsidian as well. You're going to go to the front of the farm where the furnaces are, then go over here to the left hand side. Now once you're all the way over here at the left hand side, you're going to look at the right hand side of glass for each one of these water streams, and you're going to place down a piece of obsidian on the right hand side of the glass. So one here, one here, one here. This will ensure that all of our zombified piglins will spawn inside of the appropriate locations. Now for each one of these portals, you're going to build them out in this direction by one. And then we're going to drag these all the way across until you get to the very end. This should be 23 going all the way across. Go ahead and do this to the remaining 3. And now that we have all of our portals laid out, we can start placing in the remainder of our glass. So you're going to skip these 4 pieces of glass here. These don't need to be any taller. But what you are going to do is bring these up by an additional 3 each. So bring this up by 1 layer here, another layer, and then 1 final layer as well. This is going to ensure that we don't have any piglins that are jumping over the water streams. We're going to do this to the remaining 3 portals. So once you are done, it should look just like this. You do not need any glass or anything on this side of the portal. All of the piglins are going to spawn on this side. Next, we're going to grab our obsidian and we're going to bring this up by 22 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 20, 21, 22. You're going to do this to the remaining 8 edges of the portal. Bring this all the way up. It's helpful if you're using coordinates and you mark your coordinates. So we know this should be at 161, just like this other one. And then we don't really have to think about it. We just stack until we're up to 161. Now keep in mind you need to measure your own coordinates because depending on the height that you build this thing at, it's going to change in height. It might not be 161 for you. At this point, we're going to get started placing in the rest of our obsidian. So go ahead and grab the rest of the obsidian remaining. Grab you some temporary blocks. You're going to want at least a stack, and then also some solid blocks that are not flammable. Go to the front of the farm and go to this front left portal here. We're going to pillar up by 16 blocks from this location. 1, 2, 14, 15, 16. Once you're 16 blocks up, you're going to place down a piece of obsidian here, a temporary block, a piece of obsidian here, 4 more temporary blocks, a piece of obsidian here, a temporary block, and 1 final piece of obsidian. Now on all of these obsidian, we're going to build them all the way across until they are 1 block from the pre-existing obsidian. And once they're 1 block away, then you can go ahead and place down a solid building block here. Go ahead and do this for the remaining 3 portals. Once you have done that, you can go and remove these 6 temporary blocks. Go back to your pillar. You're going to pillar up an additional 3 blocks. 1, 2, and 3. Place you down another piece of obsidian here. Another temporary block here. Another piece of obsidian. 4 more temporary blocks. And basically repeat everything that you just did below. Once you get your second layer of obsidian in, we're going to go and remove these pre-existing 6 temporary blocks. And then go back to our pillar. We're going to pillar up an additional 2 blocks, place down a piece of obsidian, and we're going to finish up the top of these portals. And once all 4 portals are done, you can drop back down here and take the same pillar of temporary blocks that you used to get up here. At this point, we're going to get started on the control interface. It's going to individually control all 4 of these portals. So what you're going to want to do first is grab your materials. You're going to want 4 of your signs, 8 of your regular pistons, a bunch of redstone dust, 4 redstone lamps, 4 levers, 44 stained glass, a bunch more solid blocks, a bunch more redstone torches, and 4 redstone blocks. You're also going to want some temporary blocks as well. Go ahead and grab your temporary blocks first, go to the front of the farm for reference, and then go to the right hand side. You're going to find this block here, and you are going to count forwards by 3, 1, 2, and 3. On this block here, you're going to place down 3 of your temporary blocks, pillaring up, and then a 4th solid block here. You can go ahead and build this to the right by 1, and then place down a temporary block to the right hand side. Now this needs to be built out in this direction by an additional 7, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're going to build this out an additional 7 as well. So this platform should be 8 by 2. Then you're going to go to that temporary block that you placed down. Place down a redstone lamp here, a solid block, redstone lamp, 2 solid blocks, a redstone lamp, another solid block, and another redstone lamp. Go ahead and place a lever down on all 4 of these lamps. And then grab you some redstone torches and place a redstone torch on the back side of all 4 of these lamps. Directly on top of these redstone torches, we're going to place down a solid block. And on the one all the way to the right hand side, you're going to place a torch on the right, a torch on the right, and then these 2 on the left hand side, we're going to place a torch on the left and a torch on the left. Directly on top of these, we are going to place down a regular piston facing up. So it should look just like this. At this point, we can grab some more solid blocks and go all the way across here, just to make it look a little bit better. And this is also where our signs are going to be. We're going to remove this one just so we have a little area to climb up. So we can place a sign here, a sign here, a sign here, and a sign here. We'll go back and fill these out later. Climb up here, and then on each one of these pistons, you are going to place down 11 stained glass blocks each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Now again, to make it easier, you can mark your coordinates on your height on the center, so 143. We'll bring these up to 143. Now at this point, we can place down a block of redstone on top of all of these. On the portal side of these blocks of redstone, we're going to want a solid block on all 4 of these. Place down a piece of redstone on all 4 of those solid blocks. Place down a solid block in this direction on all 4 pieces of redstone dust. On top of all of these solid blocks, you're going to place a redstone torch. Then you're going to place down a solid block in front of all of these torches. And then a solid block on top of all of these torches. Then a torch on the front and a torch on the top on all 4 of these. Now at this point, we're going to grab our regular pistons and some temporary blocks. We're going to go down here. And then we're going to face up and place a piston facing down on both of these. We can go ahead and pillar up and remove these temporary blocks. And we're going to do the same thing on this side over here. So a temporary block down here, jump down, place a piston facing down, a piston facing down. We're going to go up by 2, bring this over here, remove these, and then pillar up a little bit more. And then on top of all of these pistons, we're going to place down a piece of redstone dust on all 4 of these. Now at this point, you can bring these torch towers all the way up until they run into that block. You're going to do this to all 4. And now you're going to oscillate between these. So solid block, remove this one, solid block, remove that one, solid block, remove that one, and then place torches, which will then make your torch tower. Do this to the remaining block. Now from this location, you're going to go back over to this piston. You're going to count up by 3 solid blocks that have torches on them. 1, 2, and 3. On this set of blocks, we're going to place down a solid block here, here, and here. We're going to jump across, and we're going to follow this over and place in another one here and here, lining it up. And we're going to jump over here. We're going to do the same thing, bringing this all the way over, here, here, and here. And then one right here as well. Make sure that those are all in line, and they should be, again, 3 solid blocks with the torches on them up. At this point, we're going to be going up to this block here on the left hand side, which is 1 down from the top. We're going to grab us 4 pistons and some temporary blocks. We're going to place down a temporary block here and a temporary block here. Remove this one and place a piston here facing that direction. It should extend. And one right here facing this direction. It should extend. Go ahead and remove that temporary block. We're going to do the same thing over here. So a temporary block here and here. Remove this one, a piston here, and a piston here. Remove that temporary block. Next, we're going to do a quick test just to make sure that everything is working properly, and then we're going to start putting in some more redstone. So what you're going to want to do is go down here, and these levers that you just put in, you are going to want to turn on. It should push that piston up on all 4 of those. And whenever you turn them off, all of the pistons and glass should come back down along with those solid redstone blocks. So now that all of these are working properly, we can go over here to this block here. We're going to place down a redstone torch on top of this block. Go ahead and hit that lever to turn it off. Place down a solid block on top, a piece of redstone dust on top of that, a solid block to the side with another piece of redstone dust on top of it, a solid block to this side, bring this out by 2 with more redstone dust on top of it, 5 more blocks coming out this direction with even more redstone dust on top of it, another solid block here with a torch coming out of the top, solid block on top, and then we're going to bring this torch tower up until we are level with the pre-existing blocks up here. And in case I wasn't clear, these are the ones that we're lining up to. So you want to bring your torch tower all the way up to these. And then we're going to place one more additional block here. On this block, you're going to want a redstone repeater on the default delay, a piece of redstone dust here, and you could probably put a temporary block so you don't fall off. On this side, you're going to want a repeater here, and a repeater here. All of these need to be on the default 1 tick delay. Redstone dust in the center. Jump off of here and remove those temporary blocks. Do the same thing over here, temporary block, jump. In the center, we're going to have redstone dust here and here. Remove, place, and lastly, a repeater here and a repeater facing that direction with redstone dust right here. You can jump over here, remove that temporary block. Then we're going to crouch, place a solid block right here. Place a redstone torch on top of it. Then you're going to place a temporary block out this direction with a solid block right here. Remove that temporary block. Jump up here in between the obsidian, and you're going to place down another solid block here with a torch facing this direction. You're then going to grab more building blocks. You're going to build this out an additional 14. 1, 2, 13, 14. On the 14th block, you're going to place out a block this direction, one this direction, and one this direction. And then you're going to build this out until it is even with the obsidian here. Once it is out here, you're going to place down a block here, remove the block underneath, place down a torch here, a block here, a torch here, another block here, a torch on both sides, one here and one here, and then solid blocks here, 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 and here. At this point, we can grab some dispensers, and on this block here, we're going to have a dispenser facing out this direction and a dispenser facing out this direction. You can also put one over here, and then on the far side, we're going to be adding one over there. This whole portal is pretty much going to be a mirror of everything that we're building right here. So at this point, we can jump down here. We're going to place in redstone dust in these locations. Place you a comparator down here. Left click on it to put it into subtract mode. A redstone repeater here. And then we're going to bring redstone dust all the way over here until we run into the torch. We're going to do the exact same thing for the other portal. So we're going to go to this repeater here. Crouch place a block right here with a torch on top of it. Then we're going to place down a temporary block here, a solid block here. Remove that temporary block. Go ahead and jump back up here, place down a block right here with a torch right here. You're going to build this out an additional 14. 1, 2, 13, 14. Build this out this direction, and this direction. Then you're going to build this to the end of the obsidian. A temporary block here, solid block here. Go ahead and remove that temporary block. Place you a torch here, solid block here, torch here, solid block, torch, torch, block, 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 and block. And then over here, you're going to place your last dispenser facing this direction. Once again, you're going to drop down here. We're going to place redstone dust in these locations here. Comparator facing this way, left click for subtract mode. Redstone repeater here on the default 1 tick delay, and redstone dust until you run into this torch. At this point, you're going to come back over to the side of the farm that has your pistons on it, and you're going to go to this block here. You're going to place down a redstone torch here, a solid block here, redstone torch, solid block here, here, and here. Now you're going to do the exact same thing on this side. Now we're going to get started placing in all of our observers, which are going to constantly update our lava. So we're going to come to this obsidian bar here on the front of the farm. We're going to place down a temporary block here with a observer here. We're going to switch back and forth between the temporary blocks and the observers, just like this, until you make it all the way to the end. Once you get to the end, instead of ending this with another observer here, you're going to place down another solid block. So you should have the torch block and then 2 more solid blocks. Now we're going to remove all of these temporary blocks and place in a observer facing into the face of those, so they are pointing each other. Now you're going to go up on top of these observers. You're going to grab your trapdoors, and you're going to place down a trapdoor right here. Make sure that they open and close like this. And you're going to bring these trapdoors all the way across, orientated like this, until you run into the very end. Once you run into the end, you can go ahead and flip all of these open. And then turn around and do the exact same thing to this side, making sure that they open up like this. Go back and open up all these, just like the other ones. And now we're going to repeat the exact same thing up here. So we're going to place down a temporary block here and here, remove this one, place an observer facing this direction, temporary block, observer. Continue this pattern all the way to the end. Now, unlike the other one, once we get to the very end, this one we ended it with 3 solid blocks. On this one, we are going to remove these 2 blocks. We're going to place down another observer here facing this direction. Then we can place these 2 blocks back, remove this one, and then we're going to place in our observers facing into the faces of the pre-existing ones, just like before. And then once we get to the end, we can grab some temporary and solid blocks, place down a temporary block here, a solid block here, here, and here, remove that temporary block. Then we're going to take our trapdoors again, place down a trapdoor here, make sure that they flip up and are orientated like this. And then we're just going to grab here, and we're going to build all the way across with our trapdoors. And then once you get to the end, you're going to turn all the way around and do the exact same thing. And then you can go down and flip all of these up, just like before. So this is what you should end up with. Now you're going to grab you some solid blocks and place a solid block on top of each of these trapdoors. This will keep them from actually burning away, but they will still be able to catch on fire. Then we're going to do it on this side as well. At this point, we're going to start doing the fun part, which means we're going to start placing in the lava. Now, you need to be very careful that you do not die, and it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to get you a fire resistance potion for this. You're going to want to go to this block here. We're going to temporarily break this block, and we're going to make our way inside of here. We're going to go all the way to the end so we don't box ourselves in. This lava is going to flow 3 blocks away from the source block. So 1, 2, 3, then the source block would have to be here. We're going to place down our source block of lava here. It's going to flow 1, 2, and 3. And now we're going to repeat this process again. So 1, 2, 3 source, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3 source, and then 1, 2, and then we need to be very quick to place down a block there. In survival, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to just place down a temporary block here. That way you can back into it if you need to. Now up here it is a lot easier because you don't have to work in a confined area. So grab you some more lava, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that will pretty much cause all of these to catch on fire, which is what's going to be responsible for lighting the portals. Now on this side over here, you are going to do the exact same thing that we just did. So we're going to place down a temporary block, remove that. Then we're going to place in all of our observers. I'm not going to repeat all of this again. I'm going to do a quick cut. If you need to see all of this again, then just rewind the video and build it on this side, as it's going to be the exact same. We're getting very close to firing this thing off. However, there's a few finishing touches that we need to add. So what you want to do is grab you 4 of the powdered snow buckets, 2 observers, some temporary blocks and some solid blocks, and potentially some redstone torches just in case you drop a few. We're going to go to the front of the farm for reference and go to the left-hand side. Then we're going to find this block here. On this block, we're just going to make us a temporary block bridge. That way we don't fall off, and you're obviously probably going to be scaffolding up here as well. We're going to find this 3rd solid block here. If we put out this fire, you can see the observers right there. So what we want to do is remove this fire, remove that block, and place down an observer there. We're going to do the exact same thing on this side as well. Remove that fire, remove that block, and place down an observer. That's going to help update this so the trapdoor will catch on fire more, just giving it a little bit more efficiency to help light the portals. Then we're going to start placing in our powdered snow. So what we want to do is scaffold around here to where we can get to this dispenser. We're going to place powdered snow in here, powdered snow inside of this one, powdered snow in this one, powdered snow inside of this one. Now we want these portals to flicker at different rates, and we cannot control when they actually will light, so what we need to do is control when they break. So the way that we're going to do that is go to the front of the farm, and on this dispenser here, we want this one to dispense the powdered snow out. So we're going to break this redstone torch, and then place it right back here. That's going to dispense that powdered snow. And then on this one, since we did not power this one, it is going to stay inside of there, which is exactly what we want. We want this one on this side to dispense the powdered snow out as well. So we're going to break this torch here, replace it, and that's going to dispense it out. This is going to help with lag. That way you're not trying to light and break 4 portals at a time. That way you'll have this one and this one light, and then this one and this one light, which makes it a lot more lag friendly. Now, if you wanted, you can also add in some blocks here just to make it look a little bit better. And then you can remove all of your temporary blocks. Now down at the bottom, you're going to want to grab 8 water buckets, or at least have a way to refill them. You're also going to want to have 8 impelling 5 tridents, a flint and steel, and also some glass. We're going to go down here to this soul soil block, light that on fire so it burns all the items that come down through here, and then we're going to cover this all the way over until you get to this point. Then we're going to place down a block here, and that will cover up that ice stream without blocking it off. The reason why you want to do this is because there are no blocks above this water stream, and depending on the height that you build this thing and where you build it at inside of the world, you may get fish or squid inside of here, especially if you're over top of an ocean. Now you can go back over here to the center of the Trident killers. We're going to break out this block here, throw 4 tridents into the head of that piston, place glass here, and then on this side you're going to want to remove this piece of glass down here. Throw your tridents into the head of this piston, replace this glass, and then you're going to waterlog all of these. So now we're going to turn around, make sure that we don't have any of these portals selected. We can go ahead and replace this block here and remove these temporary blocks here. And we can turn our Trident killer on. Go ahead and turn it back off. All of your tridents should fall down into the center, just like so. And you should also have a swirling effect going on inside of your Trident killers. Now, as tempting as it is to hit the switch and start spawning piglins, there is a few more things that we need to do. The first thing is going to be naming a bunch of blocker items to put inside of here. These items can be any item that stacks to a count of 64. Because the sticks are very cheap, we're going to be using these, and you're going to want to rename 1.5 stacks exactly. And that's going to be enough for the 24 hoppers. Now at this point you're going to want 4 gold ingots, you're going to want 12 gold nuggets, and you're going to want 8 rotten flesh. Looking at the front, you're going to go to the left hand side first. You're going to start with your gold ingots. You're going to throw a gold ingot in this hopper, a gold ingot in this hopper. Ensure that your comparators are lighting up as you do this. That way you know that they are indeed going into the correct hopper. A gold ingot in this hopper, and a gold ingot in this hopper. Then you're going to grab your 8 rotten flesh, throw 1 in here, 1 in here, 1 in here, 1 in here, all the way down the line. So on the right hand side you should have 4 gold ingots in these, and then you should have rotten flesh in all of these going this way for the remaining 8. Now you're going to go to the other side, and you're going to throw all of your nuggets into these. 1 here, 1 here, all the way down, putting your nuggets in all 12 of these. Again, ensuring that the comparators do turn on. That way you know that they did indeed go into the hopper. Now that we have all of these turned on, we can start placing in all of our blockers. So we're going to grab these and we're going to place in 4 sticks in each of your hopper, just like this. Do this to all of your sorting hoppers. You are going to need to add fuel into these. Now you don't need to use lava. You can use whatever you would like to fuel these. If you do want to use lava, I do have a lava farm that I will link inside of the top right now. And then that will supply more than enough lava to keep this thing up and running. Now at this point, if we did everything correctly, we should have a operational gold farm. So if we go down here, we turn on the Trident killer, and then we turn on this switch here, which will turn the portals on and off as a whole. You can see that we have our powdered snow oscillating up inside of the portals. And we could check all 4 of those. That does seem like it is working correctly. So now if we go over here and hit this lever, this will be for the first portal. And that one's going to start lighting. This will be for the second portal. That one's lighting. The third portal. That one's lighting. And the 4th portal. That one's lighting. Now running this farm, you do want to hold a looting 3 sword to get the most out of your items. So all of your zombified piglins should be all going down into the Trident killer, being killed very, very quickly. All of the items should be circulating around like you see here. They should start sorting out the ingots over here, the rotten flesh over here, and then all of the nuggets over here, of course. Well guys, I really hope that you enjoyed this Minecraft Bedrock gold farm tutorial video, and I hope that you get a ton of use out of this gold farm for a long time to come. This thing is pretty bonkers in the amount of gold that it supplies, and it is also a great source of experience points. If you have not already done so and you feel like the video deserved a like, then please go ahead and drop a like, as that really does help out the channel. And if you have not already subscribed, what are you waiting for? You don't want to miss whenever I post farms like these, do you? Do you? Of course not. Just make sure that you hit that bell notification also. That way you're notified whenever I do release these videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.